During her 6 weeks of summer vacation, Wednesday spent all her time mastering her psychic abilities. All her questions were answered in the Book of Shadows in order to find the Kansas City scalper. Wednesday asked Thing to retrieve an object from his crime scene. She then used that to determine his address. On her way there, Wednesday went through security. The security machine checked and found numerous objects inside. They were all dangerous. When the police checked the bag, they only found a hand, but they didn't suspect much. They thought it was just a toy. The sunscreen was confiscated in a rather strange way. When Wednesday arrived at the Kansas City scalper's place, she asked him if he had an online murder service. Then she used her psychic ability, but she accidentally passed out. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself tied up. She sat at the head of the table in a room surrounded by dolls. He brought a lot of knives and forks to her. He said he would make her a very lovely gift. This was his way of remembering the victim. But Wednesday also had a gift for him. The doll next to her suddenly turned its head. Then it rushed straight at the murderer's face and used the momentum to squeeze the murderer's sensitive hearts. Then it beat him up, but the blood flowing from Wednesday's eyes caught Thing's attention. She forbade Thing to say a word to her mother. That same day, the newspaper reported that the Kansas City scalper had been arrested by the police. Wednesday's mother came to inform her that their family would now move to their old school, Nevermore, the place where the cases related to Wednesday had happened. Ever since Pugsley got the ability to electrocute by putting his hand in an electrical outlet, he has been very proud to show it off to his mother. Wednesday told Pugsley to aim for the sign better next time. On the next stretch of road, Wednesday told Pugsley to aim straight at the stop sign in front of them. Otherwise, she would push the button to push him out. He was scared when he heard that, so Pugsley could only aim straight at the letter O and successfully stayed in the car. But without that sign, a series of car accidents occurred. At this time in an empty lot, a man was absorbed in taking pictures of two people having an affair when suddenly strange crows gradually appeared near this photographer. Every time he pressed the shutter, more and more crows came. They started to attack the man. Only then did he realize the danger ahead. He immediately got into the car. He thought he would be safe, but there was a flock of crows waiting in the car. The paparazzi was killed instantly. After returning to Nevermore High School, Wednesday felt like it was just yesterday that she was at the crime scene. She was determined to make this school submit to her this time. Huxley was worried about whether he would have friends here. Mom didn't forget to remind Wednesday to take care of Huxley. Wednesday's return was like a legend. The students rushed to ask for Wednesday's autograph, but Bianca hypnotized them and made them leave. Bianca said Wednesday had become a celebrity now, right? The principal saw Wednesday return and immediately ran to introduce himself. He was Barry Dort, the new principal of this school. When he met her, he realized that she was really stubborn. Dort wanted Wednesday to be an honor student, but she refused. She went to the old dormitory where she used to live. She thought she must have set a trap in front of the door. But when she opened the door, there were a lot of people there. It was a chaotic scene. It turned out that Enid had asked everyone to help Wednesday renovate her old place. Enid also bought Wednesday a gift from Golden Gate Park, a wolf-branded shirt. But Wednesday was still as stubborn as ever. Then Wednesday took out a big doll. But Enid's goal this year was to become a dance captain and join the Knight's Edge. Wednesday had her own goal, which was to write a new Book of the Werewolves of Essex. Then Wednesday brought out a large manuscript for Enid to see. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Wednesday thought someone was bothering her, but it was someone who liked Enid. He brought her a unicorn to take the initiative to make peace. Wednesday hated all the colors and the special kind of love these people had. Enid told Wednesday that she didn't know if she still liked Ajax. Ajax now only loves the old Enid, but now the current Enid has changed a lot. Suddenly, the door opens. An arrow pierces the photo of Wednesday secretly taken on the wall. On it is a message. "Welcome back, Wednesday. I'm still watching you." Wednesday tries to use her psychic powers through the photo, but she can't see who took the photo. After Pugsley was taken to the new dormitory by his mother, he also has a new friend named Eugene. After Pugsley's father gives Pugsley some instructions, he leaves. Then Eugene shows Pugsley the worms he raises. At this time, Ajax also stops by to check if these two friends have any questions about the new dormitory. After they go down to the schoolyard, Wednesday's mother tells them that she has just been invited by the principal to participate as the chairwoman of the gala fundraising committee. Because after Xavier was wrongly accused of murder and had to leave the foundation, that position was vacant. Wednesday wondered if that person would not return. The principal said that Xavier had gone to the academy in Switzerland. Suddenly, Wednesday's parents looked at each other and talked very affectionately. They went to see the future house of the Addams family. This room was the old principal's last year. The house was all pink. Wednesday's parents did not like this color, so Wednesday's father Gomez encouraged his wife Morticia that with her hands, she would surely turn this place into a place to her liking. Pugsley found some mouse traps. Wednesday did not want to live in a house like this at all. Morticia encouraged Wednesday that as long as her mother was here, she could support her. Since their paths were different, Wednesday did not need her mother to worry too much about her. She thought her mother should focus on her younger brother. Morticia immediately realized that Wednesday was hiding something from her. Morticia doesn't want Wednesday to make the same mistake. After Wednesday arrives at the woods, she finds the police investigating a photographer named Bradbury, who came to spy on a couple. A flock of crows attacked him until nothing was left of his face. Wednesday is curious, so she looks over. Wednesday notices a man in black, so she chases after him. Unexpectedly, it's Galpin, a friend of the victim. Galpin tells Bradbury that he has discovered something that could affect the nightshades. Wednesday wonders why a normal person like him would care about the nightshades. Wednesday forgets that it was Galpin's son Tyler, who was turned into a monster by Thornhill. Galpin tells Wednesday to keep an eye out because the one-eyed birds are always watching. At night at Pugsley's dormitory, Ajax tells them a story from a long time ago at this school. There was a boy who had his human heart removed and replaced with a mechanical heart. From the moment the heart was placed in his body, he began to become cold and extremely ambitious. Every invention he created gradually changed and became more dangerous until one night his talent cost him his life. There was a rumor that the genius's body was buried under a skull tree. This legend made Pugsley start to feel extremely interested. At this time, Bianca was called by the principal to ask for her help with something that this school was having some financial problems and needed her help. He did not want the nightshades to be restricted or tarnished at this school, so he wanted to take advantage of Bianca's hypnotic ability to raise funds and do the best for Nevermore School. That night, Wednesday started playing her music. Meanwhile, her mother read a book about abilities. Her younger brother was curious about the child under the skull tree, so he stayed up all night just to find out where it was. As soon as Wednesday finished her song, the music teacher, Capri, came before her and praised her talent. Wednesday didn't need any introduction to know who the teacher in front of her was because Wednesday had always been interested in prodigies since she was born. Capri started talking to Wednesday. Capri told her about a famous person who also loved music. Capri started teaching Wednesday how to play the piano smoothly, but Wednesday was a person who didn't follow any rules. Wednesday ignored Capri and her to play as she wanted. There was a bonfire festival coming up at Nevermore High School. So, the principal had some students use magic to build a very impressive fruit-shaped monument. He introduced Morticia and tried to recruit her to be the treasurer of Nevermore School. Then he introduced the mermaid girl, Bianca. At night, Wednesday returned to her room and received a letter from Xavier. Xavier said he tried to text Wednesday, but she must have lost the phone he gave her. It turned out that Wednesday had broken it. Then the picture that Xavier gave her was opened. Inside was a picture of a one-eyed crow that made Wednesday very curious. Wednesday saw that her typewriter had some paper on it, so she ran to check it. Wednesday realized that her manuscript had been stolen. Someone was trying to tease her and forced her to be present at the campfire because if Wednesday didn't go there, he would burn the manuscript. At night at the campsite, Wednesday told her friends to watch out for suspicious people, but first they had to take pictures. Pugsley invited his friends to explore the skull tree again, but didn't know if anyone would dare to go. Suddenly, some people bumped into Wednesday. Inside was a prank letter covered in stamps telling her to meet under the PY if she didn't want her books to go up in smoke. Wednesday immediately removed the wooden sticks from under the P and began to crawl inside. While Enid was talking to her friends, the headmaster of the school on the podium began to give a speech about the founders' bonfire. The school's music began to play. While Wednesday was trying her best to find her book manuscript, the headmaster on the podium made a very eloquent announcement. Today was the day for the misfits of Nevermore to unite. Enid was outside anxiously urging Wednesday. The headmaster announced that today would be the day to abolish the nightshades and all secret societies. The responsibility of protecting the school fell to the misfits. Then he started celebrating by lighting the P. Thing was very worried outside. Wednesday tried hard to get the manuscript while outside people were starting to control the crow with straw. Enid was very worried and ran to find someone to help. The scene of the crow burning spectacularly outside made everyone very happy. Enid ran to tell the principal that Wednesday was stuck under the P. As soon as Enid finished speaking, Wednesday also escaped just when the principal needed Wednesday to go up to the podium to say a few words because she was the pioneer in saving Nevermore School. Wednesday looked at her image looking very fate on the poster and she was very upset. Under the cheers, Wednesday took the mic and declared that she would not stop until her enemy was defeated. The crowd below was still cheering enthusiastically. Wednesday said that you guys think I am a hero. No, because I always play dirty and only serve myself. Let me lead this school to hell. After Wednesday finished speaking, she burned the poster with her picture. After that, Wednesday left. In the forest under the skull tree, Pugsley, out of curiosity, went to the tree. He was startled and accidentally activated the electricity under the tree and successfully summoned the legendary student with a mechanical heart at school. Enid hurriedly ran after Wednesday to ask her a few questions. Unexpectedly, that activated Wednesday's psychic ability. She saw that in the future many people in this school would die, including Enid. Since Morticia knew that Wednesday was abusing her ability, she forced Wednesday to hand over the Book of Shadows because the more she abused her ability, the more her ability would be exhausted. Wednesday couldn't wait for someone to guide her. She ignored her mother's warning and went back to her room. Wednesday asked the driver to take her to Galpin's house. What surprised Wednesday even more was that Galpin was just an eyeless corpse, just like the photographer had seen before. In Galpin's house, the crows appeared again as he had warned Wednesday. When she tried to use her powers on him to see if she could get any information, she couldn't. Her psychic powers had worn off and she was gradually becoming a normal person. Suddenly, the police appeared as if someone had intentionally reported it in advance. However, when Wednesday was taken to the police station, she was only questioned if she knew any other information because according to the investigation of the photographer's phone number, the last call he made was to Galpin. The police also couldn't find his phone. Wednesday was certain that Galpin's son Tyler had done these things. He hated his father very much. The police didn't believe it until Wednesday's father appeared. He said he was her defense attorney. Then he picked Wednesday up and took her home, much to the dismay of the police. In the car, her father asked her why she came to Galpin's house. She honestly said that she had been asked for a favor, but he didn't believe her. She asked what her aunt had done before, but he had no right to answer. So, the information about her aunt remained a mystery. After Pugsley locked the zombie in the bee house, Eugene accidentally appeared and asked what he was doing. Here, Pugsley hesitated for a moment. Last night, Pugsley had successfully activated the genius boy with the artificial heart under the skull tree. Pugsley was excited to see it as a pet and a close friend. Pugsley thought it was harmless, but Eugene was afraid that it might eat someone else. Seeing that it was hungry, Pugsley opened the honey cup for it to suck, but then it vomited on the two of them. Wednesday gradually lost her telepathic ability. Wednesday reminded Thing not to tell anyone. As soon as Wednesday returned to her room, she saw a pool of blood on the floor. Wednesday thought Enid had been murdered by someone. It turned out to be just Enid's prank. Today at school was prank day. The moment Wednesday was worried was valuable information for Enid. After a while of the two talking, the person stalking Wednesday appeared again. He sent Enid a few new messages. It was possible that he was the culprit who caused Galpin's death. Enid didn't want to be involved with a murderer related to Wednesday, so Enid had to leave Wednesday alone. Because today was prank day, the kids started to take revenge on each other. Pugsley and his friends released a Sumatran tiger to bite Enid's friend, causing her to be extremely painful. Ajax also did not forget to join in this matter. Ajax petrified the two people because they were playing a prank, but he was quickly pranked by his juniors below, causing him to float in the sky. This scene made the principal very excited, but Professor Louise next to him was not because last year Louise was put in a jar. Wednesday's appearance always attracted the attention of others. Wednesday asked the principal if he knew anyone who could control birds or crows. Wednesday wanted to find out who was culprit who had been following her since she returned to school. Because of the mission, Bianca continued to trick Morticia into being the president of the school's investment fund. Bianca did not hesitate to approach and chat to entice Morticia to be the president of the school, but Morticia soon realized Bianca's intentions. She pretended to be like that. After being petrified, Pugsley and Eugene went to the warehouse to see how Slurp was doing. They brought Slurp some food. After feeding Slurp, they left. They didn't know that danger would come to others because Slurp tried to escape. To investigate where the crows came from, Wednesday told Thing not to tell anyone. At this time, Enid ran over and asked Thing if she had seen her driver's license. Anywhere. Thing shook his hand. Just then, Wednesday's mother appeared again to find the Book of Shadows. When Wednesday took Enid's driver's license to the taxi outside, the driver forced her to respect the law and do what he asked when getting in the car. But Wednesday had always been stubborn, so she ignored it. She drove away, but the driver had prepared the spare brake. Suddenly, the driver noticed something right at the gate. He turned around and saw Wednesday holding a knife in her hand, so he was scared. He let her drive around a few times. Thing was scolded by Morticia because he did not report to her that Wednesday had used this book all summer. Thing then angrily told her that he was treated like a servant in the house from the time they made him clean up the mess. Then he had to pour wine and then was used as a toy. Morticia also felt guilty and went too far. After an hour of driving, Wednesday arrived at the mental hospital where Tyler was being held. The police thought Wednesday was a normal child, but Wednesday told the police to call his superior here. So the police took Wednesday to meet his superior, but Wednesday still had to wait for another round of examination. The doctor who examined Wednesday was Fairburn. She said that Wednesday needed Dr. Fairbairn's presence before she could see Tyler. Wednesday wondered if it was Tyler's trainer. Then suddenly, Dr. Fairbairn appeared behind Wednesday and said Tyler often talked about Wednesday. Fairbairn knew that Wednesday would come here sooner or later because of the recent murders. Fairbairn told Wednesday that this could be the shot Tyler needed to kickstart his recovery. If Wednesday felt threatened or uncomfortable, she could just press the red button on the wall. Then Wednesday went inside to see Tyler again. He slowly walked up to her and told her about how this place was designed for schizophrenic werewolves. Tyler was sure that Wednesday's morbid curiosity would bring her here to see him sooner or later. They were two dark souls ready to destroy the world together. But that was Tyler's opinion. Wednesday was only interested in whether Tyler knew anything about the crows. Tyler said he was. Tyler didn't say anything else but told Wednesday to give his regards to Enid. Tyler wanted to make Enid pay for interfering in his business. Wednesday felt extremely happy when Tyler was locked in a cage and moaning like this. When Tyler was about to get angry, the bishop pressed the button to restrain him. Wednesday would not appear here again because there was no clue she needed here. At school, the mischievous Pugsley often teased Professor Orell. Eugene appeared and called Pugsley out to talk about Slurp's escape. Enid and her friends brought a package to see Thing. At this time, Thing was drinking alcohol in the box, making Enid curious about how he drank. Then she opened the package. Inside was a photo of Thing when he was arrested at the police station. Suddenly, Enid realized that today was Thing's birthday. The whole Addams family was so bad that they forgot Thing's birthday. Enid immediately offered to take Thing out tonight, but suddenly Thing's trunk was locked. After Bianca went to the principal's office, she reported to him that it was very difficult to convince Morticia to invest. Bianca was fed up with this. She planned to hypnotize the principal to make him not let her do this anymore. But the principal had a necklace that counteracted Bianca's hypnotic singing. Now he wanted her to do her best to get Morticia to join their side. When Wednesday returned to her room, she asked Thing where Enif had gone. Thing was extremely panicked. Wednesday turned on the phone and only heard a voice on the other end. The game had just begun. Wednesday had 30 minutes to find Enid. If not, Enid would be killed. After Enid and Bruno woke up, they were tied together. Above were many swords ready to fall on them at any moment. The two thought this was Ajax's prank. They called out to him until a knife fell. Only then did they realize that this was not a prank. Wednesday was on her way to every corner of the school to find out what the symbol of the heart was. When Wednesday came to the organ, she started to play the rhythm and successfully opened a secret door leading to a mysterious passage. And it and Bruno tried to escape together, but it was very difficult. On the way, Wednesday discovered a mask. On it was a countdown clock. At this time, the other two were very affectionate. They both moved towards each other because they thought that life would end here. Wednesday also appeared. Enid begged Wednesday to help them, but Thing accidentally activated the trap. Typewriter had a question written on it for Wednesday to answer. She started to look around. Each volume is a book by a famous author. Despite the tense situation, Wednesday still successfully finds the answer and saves her friend from danger. An invisible person appears and claps their hands to congratulate them. Wednesday is very confused about the fact that a 13-year-old girl did these things. It turns out that she is a crazy fan of Wednesday named Agnes. She asked her friends to do this prank with her. It was all just to get Wednesday's attention. Enid saw her life being used as a joke, so she planned to deal with Agnes. But then Enid was tied up. The person who burned the book that day was also Agnes. But the person who killed Galpin was not Agnes. If Wednesday needed, Agnes would definitely help her investigate to the end. But Wednesday just ignored Agnes and went down the elevator with her friend. At midnight, Bianca continued to go to Wednesday's house. Then Bianca hypnotized Morticia to contact her mother. After that, Morticia had to invite her mother to the gala. Then they would ask for a large donation for the school. Then Bianca continued to hypnotize Morticia so that when she woke up, she would not remember that Bianca had come here. After Wednesday returned home, she talked to Thing. Together, they thought of a way to get her psychic powers back. But Woody's magic book was soon taken away by Wednesday's mother. At this time outside, there was a one-eyed crow like that watching Wednesday. At this time, Slurp was wandering on the street. The driver thought he had caused an accident, so he rushed out to see, but he didn't see anything. He just turned around and was immediately attacked and eaten by Slurp in the middle of the stormy night. The next day, the Addams family held a birthday party for Thing to make up for the fact that they had treated him as a servant for so long. But Morticia said that last night she felt like she had an urge and called her mother, and her mother is the richest former student of Nevermore. That is probably the reason why Principal Dort is so keen on Morticia. After saying that, the two of them spontaneously started dancing together to the romantic music. But while they were dancing, Wednesday was rummaging through her clothes, making her mother stop. Morticia wanted to change into something sexy. Morticia accidentally caught Wednesday getting the Book of Shadows. Only then did Morticia bluntly ask Wednesday why she was so stubborn. Wednesday told her that she had previously received a premonition that Enid would die in a graveyard full of crows. Galpin and his former partner were also killed by the one-eyed crow in that premonition. Wednesday wanted to ask her mother to find the culprit because they were both psychics. But her mother said that the premonition would not be trustworthy. It could change later. Morticia decided not to give Wednesday the power because she was afraid that it would be a shortcut leading Wednesday down a path of suffering. Pugsley is still taking care of Slurp. Slurp is gradually recovering. Slurp is becoming more dangerous when it wants to eat its owner. In order to investigate further about the person behind the crows, Wednesday goes to see Agnes and why she can unlock Galpin's phone. It turns out that Agnes also has a friend who can transform into anyone she wants. From there, she uses their Face ID to unlock the phone. The ability of these people is so useful that Wednesday also exclaims that it is really beneficial for the investigation. After a while, Wednesday investigates more about the evidence the others brought. She finds the next thing. Wednesday tells Thing to prepare in advance. This time, the principal organizes an extracurricular activity for all the students in the school. He only had 2 things to note, which were to keep an eye on each other and have fun. Enid was extremely excited about this trip, but Wednesday didn't feel like having fun at all, because she still wanted to find clues about the people who controlled the crows behind it. Since Agnes appeared, Enid felt jealous because Agnes was getting closer and closer to Wednesday. So Enid always wanted to find an excuse to cause trouble, but Wednesday didn't care. The principal wondered why Wednesday changed her mind at the last minute about joining the school trip. This time Wednesday said she just felt that someone might die and she found some clues. After arriving at the campsite, Wednesday saw Pugsley carrying the coffin, which made her wonder. After bringing the coffin to Pugsley's bed, Eugene was still afraid that bringing Slurp along like this might cause it to harm others, but Pugsley was afraid that Slurp would have nothing to eat and would be hungry. Gomez called Pugsley outside and gave them a lunchbox. Gomez then told them to cover for each other if anything happened. Suddenly, Gomez heard growling inside. He wanted to go in and see, but the two tried their best to stop him. In front of the entire student body, Principal announced that this trip was one of the bonding activities of Nevermore School. The trip would promote community building and be a source of pride for the Misfits. While he was making a big announcement, John, the manager of the Phoenix team, came here to take over this camping site of Nevermore School. Wednesday hated the common people so much that she stepped forward to challenge him. She said that if he and his soulless subordinates wanted to take over this camping site so badly, then let's have a competition. After that, the principal began to announce the new rules of the competition between the students and the Misfits. Each team will have their own Zephyr designed by the Da Vinci students. The defending team will hold the other team's Zephyr. The attacking team is the Misfits. They are allowed to steal the items by any means possible. Then they will return to this tent and place their team's Zephyr on top of the tent first to win. It was an unexpected competition. Wednesday only wanted to come here to find Galpin's cabin. When the gunfire broke out, the students started to split up and defend. The Misfits were attacked first. The first shot rang out and the students had stolen the Misfits' Zephyr. Now Wednesday's team had to act quickly. Enid and Bruno created a distraction. Eugene controlled insects to attack the other students. Wednesday easily stole the students' Zephyr without any effort. However, the students were already quite far ahead of Wednesday. Wednesday was still not worried as she shot the rope arrow and climbed up the tower. Then she rappelled down from the top of the mountain and kicked the student away before he could celebrate. And so the Misfits team won and took possession of the campsite. After finishing, Wednesday continued to plan. She and Thing went to find Galpin's cabin, but the other students didn't want to give up. They planned to take back the campsite tonight. At night, Wednesday finally found Galpin's house according to the address on the map. Inside were all the newspapers talking about the dead Misfits and when some had died 15 years ago. All the links were related to one name, Lois. Wednesday realized that the next person Lois would target was Enid. Now Wednesday still needed the Book of Shadows to regain her ability to protect herself. At this time, Enid was hanging out with Bruno. Ajax kept clinging to Enid. He wanted to get back with her, but the two of them were different species, so Enid felt that she was more suitable for someone of the same species as Bruno. Knowing that Enid had long since stopped having feelings for him, Ajax could only suppress all his feelings and let his lover pursue a new love. The leader of the students in disguise was also here and heard everything. After Wednesday found clues about Lois, she decided to return home to reclaim the Book of Shadows from her mother. To achieve her goal, Wednesday challenged her mother to a sword fight. Everything in this house could only be resolved by force. Outside the campsite, John led the students to continue planning. They split up to take over the campsite, but he didn't know that he would be in danger because the place he came to take over was the place where an extremely hungry zombie was locked. In front of all his students, he was bitten off by the devil. Pugsley recognized the scream coming from his chest. Gomez felt extremely proud when his son did that. At this time, under the moonlight, Wednesday and her mother began to wear a glass heart on each of them. If Wednesday won, she would get the Book of Shadows back. If Wednesday lost, her mother would burn it. So under things witnessed, the two of them started to blindfold and fight. When Pugsley returned to the chest, they only saw that John had lost his head. The appearance of Agnes made them curious, but the girl here simply wanted to prove her ability to solve some problems for Wednesday. Wednesday and her mother began to fight. Wednesday said that her mother's skills had decreased because she could clearly hear her every move. The two of them fought back and forth. Thing was slightly injured. From the moment Slurp the axe, he heard the noise and ran closer. Coincidentally, his target this time was Wednesday's father, because Gomez turned the music too loud. He didn't realize Slurp was breaking the door. Feeling that something was missing behind him, he thought it was his wife. At this time, Pugsley ran to save his father. The noise was so loud that it attracted everyone around. Slurp was also afraid of the crowd, so he ran into the forest. But the sound of Wednesday and her mother's sword fight attracted Slurp closer. Right when Wednesday lost, she saw Slurp behind her mother and was holding an axe. Wednesday threw the sword at Slurp and successfully saved her mother. The police also quickly arrived to arrest Slurp. Now it was true that Pugsley was causing trouble. The students could only send John home for burial. As for Wednesday, she still couldn't get the Book of Shadows. Her ability was gone. How can she save Enid now? More importantly, who is that lowest person for Wednesday? Meanwhile, at the asylum, Dr. Fairburn met someone. This person was Tyler's former master. Fairburn was curious about what she did to start helping the wolf recover. But when Tyler saw his mother, he wanted to strangle her as if he wanted to finish her off right away. The warden tried to restrain Tyler, but Fairburn stopped him. The look on her face when she saw her old son like this made her extremely happy. Meanwhile, Wednesday went to the place where the ashes of the old misfits were kept. Coincidentally, Wednesday's grandmother also stopped by. She was curious about what Wednesday was going to do. When she saw Wednesday holding the ashes, she guessed that Wednesday was going to use the ashes to find clues. While Wednesday was sniffing, the head of a one-eyed crow appeared and took Wednesday's clue paper. Wednesday then ran after the crow. At this time, Wednesday knew that the crows belonged to the Addams. So Wednesday asked her aunt to buy this cemetery to find out who allowed the cremation. Then Wednesday wanted her to help her get the Book of Shadows back. Being the one who spoiled Wednesday, her grandmother agreed. On the way back to her room, Wednesday kept thinking about how to save Enid. Suddenly, Wednesday saw Enid preparing to make love with her new lover. Ho didn't know that Agnes had been waiting for Wednesday here for a long time. Agnes was here to bring a letter to Wednesday. The publishing house had refused to publish Wednesday's book because she didn't want to edit her manuscript. But now the more important thing was that Wednesday had to investigate who controlled the crow. Wednesday realized that there was someone who could get the answer from Willow Hill Mental Hospital. That was Fester. Fester was quite sensitive. Fester also discovered that Agnes was hiding behind Wednesday. Wednesday took out her plan to ask Fester to find a patient or Dr. Lois in that mental hospital. Then Fester started taking a fake visa to a hotel to rent a room. But the money he returned was stained with blood, which scared the receptionist. After Fester rented a room, he immediately broke things, scaring the receptionist so much that they called the police to arrest him. The police arrived to arrest him. He was taking a shower when the police opened the door and entered with a pile of fake visas on the table. The police became suspicious and questioned him. Fester said he liked to travel, so he had many visas. Then Fester even took the cactus on the table and gnawed on it like food to make the police think he was crazy. Since Wednesday learned that her aunt had been sent to a mental hospital through Fester, she went to ask her mother. Only then did her mother reveal the truth. Wednesday's aunt was actually so powerful that she unlocked all the skills of her psychic abilities. But because of that, black tears flowed down her cheeks. At that time, Wednesday's mother actually tried to prevent her grandmother from sending Wednesday's aunt to a mental hospital because the problem was not psychological, but rather ability. At this time, Wednesday's grandmother appeared to give Wednesday the cemetery ownership papers that she had bought according to Wednesday's plan. It was obvious that these two were colluding with each other. However, Wednesday's grandmother also found a clue about the crematorium. Augustus Stonehurst, who signed the death certificates for those cremated in the crematorium. Wednesday's mother tried her best to protect Wednesday, but Wednesday's grandmother wanted her to develop to her full potential. The two of them arguing like this made Wednesday's grandmother wonder if this was Morticia's way of inviting her to donate to the Nevermore Gala. However, she would donate anyway on the condition that Morticia had to return the Book of Shadows to Wednesday. Morticia heard that and immediately threw it into the blazing fire. Then Fester arrived at the mental hospital. When the doctor asked his name, he said his name was Fester. When the doctor brought the report of his brain scan, it was full of objects. This also surprised the doctor. After that, he was immediately taken away for experiments. But this was not enough. During lunch at the camp, Fester did not forget to look for the name Lois. He discovered that a cook also had that name. The two fell in love at first sight. When no one was around, Fester ran into the warehouse to see if her name was Lois. Turned out to be Lewis. At this time at Nevermore School, the Crow controller had begun to appear. Wednesday and Agnes were downstairs looking for clues. Augustus used to be the head doctor at the mental hospital, so Wednesday asked Thing to send a message to Fester. They needed Fester to find this patient first. Seeing that Wednesday was being so close to Agnes, Enid angrily asked Wednesday why she didn't let her help them a little. Suddenly, Wednesday felt something strange in the school. The crows that always followed Wednesday appeared in a flop. Then, following the controllers' orders, they started to attack everyone below. A crow caught Thing. Fortunately, thanks to the principal, Thing escaped. But in the dangerous moment, Enid successfully saved Thing. Wednesday discovered the crow controller, so she quickly chased him to the music room. Seeing Dr. Fairburn here, Wednesday immediately suspected that she was the one behind the crow control, but Fairburn said she came here to find a music teacher to go to the mental hospital because she heard that music can calm even savage beasts because there was no other way. Wednesday just left. After Dr. Fairburn returned, Thing took the opportunity to get in her car to go to the mental hospital. Morticia was worried that Wednesday would be in danger. Morticia wanted to stop Wednesday, but Wednesday was determined to do it to the end. At the mental hospital, Fester seemed to have a lover here. But when Fester saw Thing, he immediately returned to serious work. Thing told Fester that as long as he found Augustus, he would find Lois. So Fester called the warden and said he wanted to give a prize to an old man with amnesia who won the bingo game yesterday. Hearing that, the warden also brought Fester to see the old man. But the one who spoke was the parrot. Didn't want to reveal. Fester immediately dealt with Parrot. Then Fester started pushing the amnesiac old man around the prison. They accidentally passed Tyler's mother, but Fester didn't recognize it. Suddenly, the amnesiac old man pointed to the room related to Lois. So when the prison guard wasn't paying attention, Fester went to find that room again. Tyler's mother said she had some information to tell Dr. Fairburn. That was the guy who pushed the amnesiac earlier was Wednesday's uncle. Maybe she would be in trouble soon. Then the guard appeared and attacked Fester until Fester woke up. He only found himself locked up with Slurp. Then Thing returned to report everything to Wednesday. Wednesday had to take the opportunity because tonight the music teacher Capri had a therapy class at the prison. Wednesday will sneak inside through the connections she has, but Wednesday will also need Agnes' help. Fortunately, Fester already had an acquaintance, a cook named Louise. Enid heard Wednesday talking about rescuing Fester, so she wanted to join in, but going there was extremely dangerous. To make Enid feel more secure, Wednesday assigned Agnes an important job. If Wednesday was captured, Agnes would have the task of anonymously reporting to Police Chief Santiago. According to the plan, Agnes and Agnes were waiting outside the camp. When the guard wasn't paying attention, Agnes would turn invisible and go inside. Wednesday followed teacher Capri into the trunk of the car to go to the camp to sing a few songs. When the guard checked, Agnes took action. She set off a bomb in the bathroom. Before the guard outside could check Wednesday, she sneaked inside through Fester's lover. Wednesday successfully obtained the police badge and went deeper. After Wednesday reached the room where Fester was locked up, she was only interested in the clues he found. She then quickly freed him. At this time, Slurp was gradually recovering his strength. When Tyler's mother was being escorted, Slurp rushed out to attack prison guard. Then she just walked past Wednesday, because the chaos outside was starting to happen. Wednesday and Fester went to the warehouse that crazy doctor told them about to find out what clue about Lois was. When they opened the secret room, Wednesday discovered that Lois was an abbreviation for long-term alien research. She realized that this place was not to lock up the mentally ill, but to lock up aliens for research. People who were previously thought to be dead were still alive. Even Wednesday's aunt was still alive. At this time, the person controlling the crows was also revealed. What Dr. Fairburn is doing here is to serve the person behind this. She is the daughter of the insane Dr. Augustus. And this person is a deviant who studies the powers of other deviant people. She wants to extract the powers of deviant people and share them with normal people. She herself is the product of normal people. She has shared the powers of deviant people. While she was still talking, Fester had already started to act behind. Wednesday was standing by stalling for time. Then an electric bomb exploded, turning the whole building upside down. The deviant people had already started to escape from the prison, but it was this chaos that made Tyler's mother unlock herself. She came to rescue Tyler from the chains. She thought she could continue to be the master of this child again. But Tyler was no longer as easy to control as before because he knew his mother was his previous master. So he gave her 5 seconds to escape. Then he turned into a wolf. After 5 seconds, he chased her and killed her. Fester said goodbye to the woman who cooked at prison. Dr. Fairburn thought she was safe, but then she entered the room with Slurp. Slurp had recovered to the point that he could speak human language and eat his old friend. At this time, Wednesday also met Tyler. She looked straight into his eyes without fear. Then she was thrown out of the building by him. Then the police arrived, but because Tyler was too strong, the guns and bullets were useless. They could not cause any significant damage to Tyler. Will Wednesday be okay? Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel to watch the next episodes of the movie. Goodbye and see you.